with our speakers about 5 or 6 minutes each, and then have it more informal after that.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much, Bill, for inviting me to the panel to represent Cincinnatus Association. I mean, we started out, and I wasn't a member in 1920, but it started out as a group of young men. Now they were all white, they were all men, and they were all from a very privileged class of Cincinnatians. But they were a younger group that really was formed in the midst of severe shenanigans going on in our city politically, and they came into with a platform to reform city government. Look, over the years, Cincinnatus does not look like that now. We're a very diverse group of citizen leaders. We're working on a lot of issues in Cincinnatus, including affordable housing, transportation initiatives, child poverty. We spearheaded the Preschool Promise initiative. We take stands on inclusion and equity. We are very diverse. We're getting a lot of younger members into the organization. We're up to 93 members now. So I'm proud to be the current president, and if you don't know about us, I hope you'll find out about us. Alice Schneider is a member of Cincinnatus, and she heads our government panel. Bill, as I understood it, you wanted us to speak about critical issues and immediate issues that we think the new council and mayor should address. I just want to make sure I'm on topic.
Precisely, yeah. That's it.
Right. Yeah. So, and I know that some of the panel members who are much more expert at very specific action items than I am. So I'm not going to talk about housing, but it is a critical issue for us. But I think if I'm looking at council, if I'm a member of city council coming on, whether I'm new or I'm someone who's been a member of city council or I'm the mayor of city council, there are two really overarching issues that have to be addressed. And I'm going to talk about the first one, which I just think is restoring the public's trust in city government. And this does kind of get back to the historical core of Cincinnatus, but it's something, in our lifetime, none of us have seen. We had 3 indictments in the past year. I know everyone on the call is well aware of this. The public is concerned. We have a national crisis, I think, in just people not trusting their institutions. And it does really undermine the democracy of our country, and it can affect the democracy in our city and also just access to government. When people feel that they don't have access, they don't have equal access, there's backdoor dealings going on at City Hall, no one can trust what's going on. It really makes it hard for any leaders that we elect or any of the officials that aren't elected but are serving the city to really come up with a strategic plan, because people need to trust it and it needs to be transparent. And I have to say, look, most of the people serving the city are the best. Public service is a great calling. I loved working in it myself. I loved working for the city of Cincinnati. I loved working for the city of LA. I love still being involved in Cincinnatus and being civically involved. But it is something where the ego needs to be checked at the door, because it is a very challenging occupation. And when people go into public service, they need to know what their roles and responsibilities are, and respect the roles and responsibilities of others, and be totally transparent in what they are doing. Most of the people at City Hall are very good people, the people who are elected and the people who are appointed or just hired. And we have a wonderful group of public servants. But we had some issues, and it was around development. And you have to go back and think to yourself, how did that happen? How were people, maybe wittingly or unwittingly able to step out and kind of meddle in things they shouldn't have? And where was the monitoring of that? And why wasn't there more whistleblowing about that? And I know that there's been a reform panel that has met. I attended. That was very transparent. They had a series of meetings from February to August. They presented a report. Cincinnatus has looked at that report. We've had presentation actually from Bobby Dillon about that report. And I don't know if that the recommendations, Jan Michelle can probably say, I don't know that there's been any ordinances that have come forth about that, but there are some. I would encourage everyone to look at that report. It's on the city website, and it's very easy to find. And there are some good recommendations about ethics training and campaign, how taking money from developers and whistleblowing provisions and these types of things. That's all very good. But I will add something else to just ethics training. I mean, everybody who's hired in the city goes through ethics training, where whatever state or city you are, and there's state ethics. I think that's all good, and everyone needs to have that. But I think there's something in Cincinnati. I don't think we understand our charter. I don't think we really totally understand the type of government we have. And I bet if 15 or 20 of us talked about it, and I asked you to explain what it is, it's a little muddled, and people have interpreted it differently. And maybe we have just followed a narrative that others have set. But, the strength of our city government is that we have really great elected officials who set public policy and legislation for the city. And then we have really great administration in the form of a city manager who is a professional city manager and runs the day-to-day operations of the city, and is actually kind of a chief policy advisor to the council. And we don't have an executive mayor. I mean, I worked in Los Angeles. That's a strong mayor. The mayor is the executive administrator, and he hires and fires all the department heads, and there's a lot of turnover there. That government can really work. A lot of cities have that. We don't have that. I thought we had a council manager form of government, and I think most people in Cincinnati who study the charter a lot think we have a council manager form of government. But if you go on the city's website right now and you look at the budget document, which is under government transparency, I really love the city's website, and I think they're trying to do a really great job with this. There's a thing called government, and under there it's called transparency. If you look at the budget document right now, it says that our form of government is stronger mayor - council. I don't even know that that is a real thing. I don't know what that is, and it doesn't have. For years, it said council manager, and somewhere along the line, someone decided to change that. That may be a trite thing, but I don't think so. And I think one of the things for new council members and even existing council members and public administrators is for everybody to really get together and let's take a look at that charter. And if there are questions about what people are supposed to do and what their roles and responsibilities are due, let's get the solicitor to clear that up. And if there are changes that need to be made to that charter, let's get together. There was a charter reform group in 2015. Some of their recommendations did get adopted and others did not. So look, the other thing I would do immediately if I'm the mayor does have unique, the charter was amended in 1999, and that's when the mayor did take on additional responsibilities, one of which, the biggest responsibility for the mayor, and particularly right first, they hire and they lead the hiring of the city manager. It's supposed to have consultation with council about that. I don't know when the last evaluation of the city manager was done, but having a strong city manager that understands that they are not an executive assistant to the mayor, but actually have their own role and responsibilities, they're independent from the mayor and council, and equally as influential. So I think that will be something that a new mayor will be taking. It's not to imply that our current city manager is not a good one. I think she is, but I do think the mayor will be looking at that and doing an evaluation, and there needs to be discussion about the city manager's role, because I think it's been somewhat diminished over the years, and it needs to be restored. The other thing the mayor has unique responsibility for, of course, is to appoint a vice mayor, and they also will appoint the chairs of council committees. This is probably pretty educated. That is really important. All of this logistical that is really important to what's going to follow. So I'll just leave it at that. I think council passed an ordinance this week, and I'm going to probably mess up, but I think it's to do with community engagement. In fact, that may be the term of it, is community engagement ordinance. Okay. So, there's an attempt to really go out and have a platform and a very specific, prescribed, creative ideas of how, council is going to interact with the community and with neighborhoods and get people more involved. And that is one way to restore public trust. I'm going on and on. So I want to get to my second thing. Look, the legacy of this next mayor and council and restoring public trust, that's a big lift. That's going to take a while, and they need to do that. But the second one, look, COVID is just the overriding everything to all of our lives. That's why we're not meeting at Christ Church. That's why we're on Zoom all the time. That's why we're not meeting for Cincinnatus. We're meeting on Zoom. That's why people are, not. That's why restaurants and small businesses are struggling. That's why we have, 150 people in Ohio today on ventilators. That's why Children's Hospital, even in Cincinnati, one of the premier hospitals in the world, is putting out, urgent, request. We need to do a better job. I mean, I don't have the answer to this, but this council look, one of the things that I think has been really great about how we've worked together on COVID is there has really seemed to be a lot of coordination between Hamilton County and the city of Cincinnati. That website they designed for Safe and Protect is a model for the country. They work together. They're on the same page. We've had Dr. Melba Moore, Greg Kesterman, I'm sure all of you have heard them. They all seem to be pushing in the same direction. COVID doesn't care where the political jurisdiction ends. And so it's even the surrounding counties we have to worry about. We have to worry about Kentucky. But even in Hamilton County, we have pockets of citizens who we're just not reaching. And we need to figure out why our vaccination rate is still, we're just woefully short on that. And there's probably another variant coming. In the meantime, we have children under 12 who cannot be vaccinated. We're not protecting them adequately. We're trying to keep our schools open. Everyone's trying to do what they can, but we just need to keep at it. And that will be, I think, the legacy of this new council is how, look, this post-recovery, even when COVID is over, is going to be something. And it's not going to be a 4, 6, 8 year thing. Small businesses need help. And I'll end it with this. There's a lot of federal money coming into our region. The city of Cincinnati had a considerable amount of money from the American Relief Act. I don't think that's the right term. There's this infrastructure money coming. We heard from Hamilton County this week in Cincinnati about their money for housing. People are trying as hard as they can to, council had to pass an ordinance to kind of allocate the money before they even knew what the rules were. The federal government is kind of behind on that, but all of that is going to take a lot of work to get it to the right places and monitor it. And I really wish we had time to do more leveraging between all the governments. I'm talking to Hamilton County. They're working on a housing plan, but hey, have you talked to the city about what they're doing? Well, kind of didn't have time to do that, so everybody's working on their individual plans. So I think some collaboration on COVID would really be helpful. So I'll leave it at that. Public health, gaps in public health, systemic racism in public health, all of these things are important, but we're going to, this council is going to be known historically. Look, cities like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, the prevailing thought is that bigger cities are going to come out of this okay. They're still going to have big conventions. They're still going to have tourism. They're going to still have a lot of jobs. Cincinnati has been specifically mentioned among middle cities, medium-sized cities that people are really taking a look at, because I think for medium-sized cities, it can go either way. And it's how you manage it and strategically position yourself to get out of this. And I think we are really need to be paying attention to that and getting the resources in the right places. Thanks. Sorry, I went way over, Bill.